Hello, Sayandan.
Okay.
Hi, hello.
Hey, Kamal, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
I say I'm Kamal Rasa. So now we are in Sydney. I'm an engineer, mostly in structures, like bridges and structures. Yeah. I've heard about you and what you guys are doing, all the good work. So yeah, through Vasa, of course.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, we can get started. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure to speak to all of you today. And it's nice to be introduced. Vasandan, thank you for setting this up. So I'm Sandan. By day, I work in the software industry in Colombo. And by night, of course, I founded the IT Hub along with my colleague and friend, Sarveswaran. So we founded the IT Hub about 10 years ago. Our mission was to build Jaffna into an innovation hub. Post-war, I think it was important for us to find what we can do to support the community. And that's where while we were brainstorming for ideas, we came up and we found that one of the best things that we can do for ourselves and our community was to see how we can introduce technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship into the community so that it can create like a transformation in the community. So one of the things that we did up front was to define our values. So this was done 10 years ago, even before we went out there and started things, we clearly defined our values. And one of the most important values that we defined was to say that we are going to be apolitical, and that's something that we've stuck to up until now. So it's a platform for innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship. And we don't talk about political differences among us. So that's something that we've stuck to from the initiation itself. And we are not for profit, and at the start we were largely volunteer based organizations. We came from different technology companies, but when we came in as the IIT Hub, we made sure that we did not look at from our corporate backgrounds, but we worked in the best interest of the overall community empowerment
And others
and
mute.
impact.
Yeah. Can everybody mute until
Yeah.
we are ready to speak? Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Sure. So those are the values that we put down before we started the organization. So today, IIT Hub, after 10 years, and there's a bit of background noise, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah. I don't know where it's coming from. All right,
Stop now.
Yeah.
Okay, super. All right, thank you.
Vasa, you may be able to mute the others.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So what we have done today is, like, as the IIT Hub, we have spawned out different initiatives, and some of these initiatives are targeted around capacity building. I'll explain more on what we are doing there. We have also set up mechanisms which could kind of support grassroots innovation. We also have a fixed structure which supports in startup acceleration. We have also created a platform which enables networking between people, and also we've set up a co-working space in Jaffna, which we operate, and we've also built a digital learning platform. So these are some of the main things that we have built, and this is building up the ecosystem of products and solutions that we offer as the IIT Hub to the community. And one of the things that we have been operating for the last 4 years is a digital learning platform. It goes as arki.coach. So if you go to arki.coach, you can actually see the content that we have building over the years. So it started with ITEF initially, but then we took over the content from them as well. And for the last 4 years, we've been building content. And one of the most important things that we've done is we brought it online, because earlier most of this content that was available for digital secondary education was actually put into CDs and kind of getting distributed, which actually limits the scope of its distribution. So what we did was we took that and also built more content and started putting it as a digital learning platform. We started with secondary education, maths and science for O levels, but eventually it has evolved into even programming courses, data science courses, which is not just for secondary education, even post-secondary education, they can actually use this platform. We've also gone into creating like question and answer repositories for A levels. So it has kind of grown out to become a little bit bigger than what we intended to start. One of the things that we did last year was to actually run a grade 5 scholarship test exams also on behalf of the Northern Province Education Department on Aki.coach. So because of the pandemic, children couldn't go into schools. So when they want to run their practice exams, we actually like the official practice exams was run through the Aki.coach platform, which also was a test to the platform, and all of that, which was successful. And when you run exams and stuff like that on Aki learning platform, we can actually give a personalized learning experience and also do deficiency kind of analysis in an easier way. So we exactly would know this school has this particular deficiency, this province, like as a provincially, we have this deficiency and so forth. So it's an interesting twist to learning, which we are still exploring, I would say, on the digital learning platform. Secondly, what we do is we run something called as YALGIG Challenge Junior. So this year we'll be running the 10th edition of YALGIG Challenge Junior. So again, we have now partnered with the Northern Province Education Department, and we have official endorsement to run it in the Northern Province. So what we do is we go into the 12 educational zones in the Northern Province and run workshops to introduce children to programming, using hardware, mobile, web, and also we've created 2 other categories. So even if they're not really coming from programming background, they can still compete. So one is called application of science, and then the other one is best innovative platform or best innovation that they have built. So the children come in and compete on these 5 categories, and then they become kind of the winners of YALGIG Challenge on those categories. Every year we've discovered child prodigies. They work on amazing stuff, and it gives us a lot of hope, and also a lot of it inspires us to do more as well. We have discovered like child prodigies coming from Mannar, who fluently program in Python, just being like while they're 14 years or 15 years old, entirely learned online and all of that. So we and this kind of stories keep repeating every year. So this is very inspiring. Due to the pandemic, YGC 9, which happened last year, was held online, but nevertheless it was still successful. And one of the things that we wanted to do was this year we are again running it online, and we are formulating in such way where we can increase our impact. So that it will be more like a hybrid model. There will be some workshops that we are running in specific places, and then the competition to happen online, so that we don't bring too many people into the same space at the same time. So that's the YALGIG Challenge for you. And then one of the things that we did was we started a coding school. So this is something we started as an experiment. The reason for doing this is basically, if 100 students sit for A-levels as per the local education system, only about 15 to 20 would either qualify into a state university or would have the money to get into private universities. So that's how the education system is structured here. And what we realized was, if they don't get into either the private university or state university, they don't really have much options to especially get into the tech sector. And most of us who work in the tech sector, we kind of understood that a lot of things that we need as part of our work in companies are things that we learned after we got into the companies. So what we did was we tried to create a program which lasted for 6 months, where we could equip the students who have not qualified into the universities with the skills needed by the tech industry, so they can get their foot in the doors of the tech industry. So we started this as an experiment in Jaffna, and then we actually started expanding that into 2 centers in Jaffna and 1 center in Kilinochchi. And we were always looking forward to kind of deliver this Uki course online, and the pandemic actually accelerated the process. It became inevitable for us to kind of go online. So now today we have entirely converted this online and running it online, although we would start physical locations as soon as we can. But it has also had a happy coincidence or a happy impact coming out of converting it online, where today 88 students are learning online. The batch started, like the 2 cohorts, online cohorts started in December, and there are 88 students on these 2 batches. And we have students not just from the northern province, but also from the eastern province, and also more rural northern province, I would say, from even the likes of Olumade to Mannar to the island zones. All these children connecting online and learning. And today we have about 88 students going through the course. So one of the things that happens is, like at UKI, is outcome based learning. So the learning methodology that we use is slightly different. So they don't do an exam at the end of the course. So basically they have to program and build a software or a project that they're working on, and also a business case for it, and demonstrate and pitch at the end of the 6 months. So that has been one of the most important things that we do, where they actually develop a software and also a business model and a business pitch for it, and make it as a pitch and as their final step. And if they succeed in that, they get the UKI certification. So what we have seen is some of these students, while working on this idea, fall in love with the idea and go on to build startups. So there are about 11 startups today run by children who had completed UKI. So some of these students are like 22, 23 years old, and today they run their own startups. For example, I'll give you an example. Like there's a startup called Cuckoo Eats, which started like trying to be like an Uber Eats for Jaffna, but now they've pivoted and changed model. So this student was at UKI Jaffna, and he was building this as his project. And post UKI, he went into an internship into a tech company for 6 months, and after that he said that he wants to go and start this, and now he's like, although he's learning through that, he's running his own startup, and it's funded and all of that as well. So likewise, there are about 11 such startups which are run by the students who have completed UKI. So the beautiful thing is, most of these students are typically rejects as per the normal definition of our society, because they didn't qualify into the universities and stuff like that. They would not have had options to get into the tech industry. But today, not just they're getting into the tech industry, they're also becoming founders of companies and actually creating employment, not just for themselves, but for others as well. So that's a beautiful progression that we've started seeing out of UKI. And one of the other things that we recently piloted, we just completed last week, was a data science course. So we had Dr. Udaya, from Moratuwa University, is a senior lecturer there. So along with him, we created a 10-week course for data science, because we see there's a lot of potential and opportunity around data science. So we again offered a UKI data science course, because what we want to do is have other specializations as well in UKI. And this was successfully completed with 20 students. So we had to kind of watch for a while to see what's the impact of it. And also our idea is to now standardize it and start delivering the data science course as well from UKI, which was successfully completed. So that's another avenue that we are looking at. And the other most important thing that we run is called YALGeek Challenge. YALGeek Challenge, first what I explained was YALGeek Challenge Junior. The other one is basically for startups, so children or youth who want to build their own companies or startups, use this as a platform to come and pitch their ideas and seek investments or raise investments from angel investors. So we've been running this for 9 years. So this year it will be the 10th edition of it. And to look at the impact of it, today there are 35 plus startups and companies run by alumni of YALGeek Challenge, and they employ 240 plus people. All kinds of companies that come out of it. So for example, SenseMate is a holding company today. They run Sense Agro and few other companies. They employ close to about 30 to 40 people. They came through YALGeek Challenge. If you look at Root Code Labs, it's a slightly larger company today, based in Colombo. So he was actually the runner-up of YALGeek Challenge edition 3. Arogya is a platform which builds software for the hospitals, and one of the significant achievements that they did was they replaced one of the major Indian players, major size system integrators out of one of the largest hospitals in Colombo. So they migrated to Arogya platform. They are based in Jaffna as well. And today, I think they employ more than 20, 25 plus people who's working on Arogya.life. Likewise, there are a lot of companies which has actually come in and they are creating impact by employing people and bringing the tech or tech adjacent sectors out there and creating employment opportunities for people. So one of the things that we realized with like after running YALGeek Challenge, because it was more like a one-off event happening every year, we also wanted to create a systematic way in which we can support these startups throughout. So we created something called as YGC Accelerator. So in YGC Accelerator, what we do is we bring in these startups and then we provide a 6-month program where if they get into the YGC Accelerator, one of the things that they receive is mentoring. They also receive seed funding, networking opportunities, and learning opportunities. So Vasandan has been supportive to us on the YGC Accelerator now for 2 years, so 2 cohorts. So he started with mentoring Olay in the first cohort. Olay is a platform built by a 22-year-old girl who passed out of UKI from Kilinochchi UKI, and then she built a platform to sell Palmera products. I'm sure you might have come across that. So Vasandan has been kind of mentoring her on this process. So she's a very young girl, and one of the beautiful things that she's managed to do is create like impact on those artisans in Kilinochchi who are creating these products, giving a digital platform where they could start selling what they create. So the commitment that he has made is like at least every fortnight, to spend time with those teams, with the founder, to help them and support them and provide them market access, provide them knowledge, provide them guidance to make it successful. Likewise, we have like on the first cohort, actually we had 6 companies. We had Turi, which is another company which is based again run by a female entrepreneur coming from Kilinochchi. So she has built a platform, an online platform to sell thread jewelry. Again, the beautiful thing that happens out of that is basically creates opportunities for women in Kilinochchi who are creating thread jewelry to get like a bigger market access. And she started to collaborate with larger fashion kind of organizations as well slowly. It is taking time in certain startups. Certain startups are kind of growing very fast. So for example, Hex Studio has grown very fast, again based in Kilinochchi. He is running a UI UX design studio, and now I think he's accelerating and he has bigger ambitions to build it into a larger services company. Again, these are 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds who are doing all of this and running their own companies and learning through that. And YGC Accelerator is a structured way in which we are supporting them with mentorship. And like Vasandan, we have mentors across the world who are connecting with us and committing time to work with these entrepreneurs to guide them and support them. So there's a lot of opportunities creating. And today, the YALGeek Challenge, YGC Accelerator cohort 2 has 9 companies. So again, all kinds of companies are in there. On one side, we have companies who are building organic fertilizers, all the way up to companies who are building software as a service platforms. So that's the kind of spectrum you get in YGC Accelerator. So not all of them are really purely tech. One of the mistakes that we have made is on naming YAL IT Hub. We named it as YAL IT Hub, so people think that it's all IT, which is not true. Like we try to help and support all kinds of entrepreneurship. They might use technology as a supporting aid, but technology might not be the centerpiece of it. For example, if you look at the startups, the Cashew startup based in Kilinochchi, or which is in the cohort 2, or the startup who's running the organic fertilizer, again based in Kilinochchi. All these are startups who are working on specific areas, but not necessarily focused on or doesn't have technology as their centerpiece, but they leverage technology to kind of get more market access to their product and service. So which is a natural transition that you would see. So that's a little bit on the YGC Accelerator. And then we run a co-working space. So this co-working space is based in Stanley Road in Jaffna. So this is a collaboration that we created between GIZ, Hatch, and Yala IT Hub. So it's called Hatch Column. It's based in Stanley Road. So this is the space where we bring everything together. So when we have events, and also we use it as a co-working space. So for startups based in Jaffna, they take seats on this space and gives an environment where they can collaborate and work together. So that's something that we kind of run. So if you look at overall goals as Yala IT Hub was to somehow have 10,000 students learning on an e-learning platform by 2022. And today we have about 1,000 plus active learners on our e-learning platform, which I described as Arki.coach. And on the Ooki, we want to kind of extend Ooki to be able to produce 1,000 students gaining opportunities in tech by 2022. At the moment, we've increased our capacity to 160 students, so we need to kind of accelerate this. And then to be a catalyst for 100 startups and enterprises. So at the moment, we've been probably like directly catalyst for the last year for about 20 startups. So again, trying to accelerate on this area. So this is what we are trying to achieve as goals for Yala IT Hub during the next couple of years. So if I may just quickly touch on the three big opportunities I see out of this. One is one of the beautiful things that we can do is pure tech, more than pure tech innovations. We have this opportunity to intersect fusion of tech with local strengths. For example, trying to use cashew and technology together to advance the cashew farmers and the cashew production and value addition on cashew is a great opportunity that we have. And again, we have another startup who actually has been working on furniture. So they come from a family of furniture creators. The kid came into Ooki, learned the potential by using technology, and he's trying to explore 3D printing to all of that and fuse the local know-how that they have about furniture building with what's modern. It's not just going to impact themselves, but also their communities as well in a positive way. So that's a huge opportunity that exists. There's a lot of local knowledge and local kind of creativity which is there. If you can fuse that with technology, that could open up like a huge opportunity. And the second huge opportunity that exists for Jaffna or the Northern Province is the fact that a lot of people from Jaffna today, there's more people from Jaffna living outside of Jaffna than in Jaffna. So that's a huge opportunity, and a lot of them had become successful in whatever that they're doing around the world, like you all, absolutely successful in what you do. By collaborating, by tapping into that knowledge, to getting market access, it's a huge opportunity that exists, and it's about leveraging that opportunity as well, which now we have slowly started doing. And of course, if we start doing this on a long term, one of the beautiful things that can happen is we would come to a tipping point, because you know that if you look at the North, one of the biggest things that we always done is copying. So if one family had an undergraduate or a graduate, every family wanted their children to become graduates. If somebody did the tobacco farming and it became successful, everybody started doing tobacco farming. You name everything, starting all kinds of good and bad has always been replicable and copied and very competitive on that spirit. If we trigger that competitive spirit, entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology would also thrive. So we need to get to that top tipping point. It's going to take time to build the momentum, but it can be a generational work. It can happen faster, but we need to kind of rely on that and trigger that particular sweet spot of ours. This is a report that came out from the UN and the World Trade Organization on the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Sri Lanka. So interestingly, I just extracted this, and I would like to kind of read this sentence, which actually correctly describes what's happening. The reason momentum in entrepreneurship development in Jaffna can be partly explained due to the desire to recover from years of conflict. Interviews clearly indicated that entrepreneurial spirit that is taking root there. The fact that most programs and collaborations are operated on a volunteer basis indicates their willingness and passion for entrepreneurship. So this is being noticed by the UN to the WTC and all of that as well. So there is momentum on the ground, which I can clearly say, which I wouldn't have said 10 years ago. And Rome was not built in a day, but they were laying the bricks every hour. So it will be the same would apply to the North as well, if we are to do what we are trying to do. And how like these are things and venues that I think each one of you can be supportive to the mission that we have undertaken. Mentor and share knowledge. So mentorship, not just for YAL Geek YGC Accelerator, even for YAL Geek Challenge, We have mentorship sessions and stuff like that. Each one of you have your own expert areas, and then we are building up a database for mentors. I would be glad to share that post this session to Vasandan, and if you can register yourself with your competencies, when we find a match, we will come to you and kind of talk to you more. It doesn't have to be entrepreneurship kind of mentorship, but like even on your areas of expertise, if there is a startup coming in, having a conversation with them, sharing your knowledge, sharing what you think, connecting them to people would mean a lot. And also open market access to these startups, because that's something that they all kind of look forward to. If there is a way in which you can kind of leverage your network to open market access to them, that would be really impactful. And also buy products and services from them. I know that Vasandan have already shared, most of you might have already kind of purchased on Olay, but besides that, there are other startups also coming up. Please do buy the products and services, and please do share constructive feedback to them. I know some of that might be interesting products for you, but like in the other cases, it might be also good to share that feedback so that they